live on YouTube. There's some kind of glitch.
Oh, here we go. No, we're there. I think it's just I think
Just
it's
delayed?
a delay. Yeah.
Ah, okay. Sorry
Oh,
about that. Bad.
okay, guys. So, but well, that was a bit weird. Those delays that really throw us. So, hey, what's going on in the markets? We really want to dive deep, and we want to dive deep into Saturn and Mercury retrograde affecting price action, and we'll talk a little bit about mindset as we do. For those of you who are new to our channel, Conscious Crypto Traders is all about uh, three aspects of trading we believe you need to master. Do you want to rattle them off, Teresa? Can you remember? Oh, she's shaking her head.
Yes, sorry, I was just over on YouTube managing stuff. And I'm like, oh, I gotta unmute myself. Let me get back over there. Yeah, we really believe that really the technicals, although important, is only 80% of being a successful trader. There's also understanding is only 20%. I said that wrong. There's also understanding the scenarios that can affect the price action, like Mercury retrograde, like Saturn retrograde, and more importantly, mindset and the psychology of trading. Those are really the three pillars that we focus on this channel.
Exactly. And if you are a lucky subscriber, then you can go to our playlist and you will see that we've got Trading Champions, which is all about teaching you technical analysis. We've got Scenario Champions, which is a playlist about the scenarios that affect price action. You need to be thinking of this before you buy, sell, or place a trade in crypto. And then we've got a whole mindset section. We have a brand new section. Is it live yet? On Bybit, and the nitty-gritty beginners and advanced details on using the Bybit trading platform. So that's really awesome. So if you are new to our channel and you're not a lucky subscriber, how about subscribing? Because we're having conversations here that no other YouTuber is having, and we're addressing the gaps, specifically the mindset, the emotional management, and the scenario trading that really affect price action. And do you have anything else to say on that while I just have a sip of water, Teresa?
Yeah, I'm super excited for today's call because I think one of the things W.D. Gann talked about, and he was one of the most successful traders of all time, was that good traders ignore astrology, exquisite traders pay attention to astrology. And that's one of the things one of our mentors, Jeroen van Lange, talks about a lot on the blockchain today, that it's really important to know what's the broader context that these patterns are playing out with. So it's important to know the patterns and how the patterns would break. But what are the bigger scenarios that might affect whether the pattern breaks up or whether the pattern breaks down?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we're looking at here is 2020, even though it says 2021, this is last year. What happened in price action to Bitcoin when Saturn went retrograde, which is this yellow line here, and then when it went progressive, which means it's no longer in retrograde, it's moving forward, and then Mercury retrograde, which is it goes into retrograde in the dark green, comes out of retrograde in the light green, and that happens 3 times a year. What happens and under what scenarios can we see a repeating pattern or a divergence in the pattern? And I want to talk about that today because if we look at Saturn went retrograde on Sunday here, and we go into Mercury retrograde Sunday, so this could affect the current recovery, if this is a recovery and it's not a fake out, right? So I think history, I'm a history major, so we can always learn from history and the patterns that it gives us. If we have a look at this price action for Bitcoin, let's start at the beginning of 2020, when in February we went into Mercury retrograde on the 16th of Feb. And this was technically speaking the end of the bear market. It was before the halving. The halving was around about here, just a few days before the next Mercury retrograde. And I'll come to talk a little bit about that in a moment. But let's have a look at the first one. In the bear market, we come up in price action, and all of a sudden we reverse down the day of Mercury going retrograde. We come out of Mercury goes retrograde and we plummet even further, right? So we've learned from our mentor that in a bear run or in a bear cycle, Mercury often dumps down because we're in a bear cycle. But if we have a look over here when we actually had started the bull cycle, Mercury, this green one here, Mercury comes in from the upside again, only it doesn't dump down, it continues up into what ended up blasting through the 20k level on up into the 30s. Then in the middle, which is around about the halving, when everybody was expecting Bitcoin to just take off after the halving, right? There was a tremendous amount of FUD going on there, a lot of FOMOing into Bitcoin. Mercury retrograde happened a couple of days later. We came into this kind of trading sideways, a little bit down, but then we just kind of traded sideways. Maybe we started at a higher price and went down to a lower price by the end of it, by not by much. So during the bull cycle and the bear cycle and the bear transition, we have price action going down, and during the bull cycle, we have price action going up. Now, there was a Mercury go retrograde in the middle of Saturn going retrograde, which was on May 10th. Okay, so if we go back here, this Mercury goes retrograde as we're coming into the Saturn. Mercury goes retrograde. We see this fall here coincided with a stock market crash. Then we had the COVID event, and we had the further event correction, right? And that went way down there. But Mercury retrograde was letting us know that we're probably going to have a bit of a correction. So we could have known ahead of time. So you would have thought, hey, let me put in a long here and let me hold out, hold out, hold out. But if you knew to be aware of Mercury going retrograde, you wouldn't have done that. You would have been very careful, maybe taken profit, gotten out of the trade and switched to a short, right? Is that fair to say, Teresa? Like forewarned is forearmed, in other words?
Yeah, exactly. If you know there's a high likelihood that the market's going to go down and then you start seeing the market dumping, you're a lot more ready to trade it appropriately, right? And we did another video about how to trade market dumping effectively. But the main thing is you can't deer in the headlights. And so knowing there's a Mercury retrograde coming can really help you be prepared.
Yeah, exactly. And so now let's talk about Saturn retrograde. Saturn is a planet that rules commerce, finance, and business. And its native star sign is Capricorn. It's very harmonious in Capricorn. It's also the planet of limitation, and usually its theme is retarded speed. So whatever you are working on, you get a little bit of a slowdown, or it can become a little bit sluggish if there isn't a tremendous amount of momentum pushing the energy in the other direction. So when you look at Saturn going retrograde, we came in, we dipped down, and then we went up and down a little bit, but basically we traded sideways, and what looked promising as a recovery from Mercury retrograde coming into Saturn retrograde, right? It looked like, hey, finally we're starting to get some traction here. Suddenly we are consolidating and not really doing much. And then when we come to Mercury retrograde within Saturn retrograde, you can see how tight the trading is. There's not a lot of variance between the lowest point and the highest point, right? So it's really tight trading. And that was getting ready for, as we start coming towards the end of of Saturn, we come out of Mercury retrograde. A week later, we start a rally. We're coming towards the end of Saturn, so it's going progressive. We get kind of like a Bart Simpson, right? It goes up, we get excited, we go across, we come back down. But the point that we come back down to is slightly higher here at 9,749 than where we started, which was 8,460. So for May, June, July, August, September, October, 5 months, we basically traded sideways with a little bit of a flurry action here. Not much variance in the price action. So
and I don't want to overstep this, Nicola, because you made this point, but some people might be underestimating the importance of this.
okay.
It was 4 months when people were expecting the price should be going up.
Yes.
Right. So
Yeah.
I think that's really worth saying again. I know you already said it, but say it again,
Right.
because historically we normally would have expected the bull run to happen sooner after the halving. Right. So Mercury retrograde and Saturn retrograde both have great track records of causing things to happen that are atypical for what we would normally see during the cycle.
Yeah. And remember, retarded speed, slowing down, limiting takeoff, right?
Yeah.
So that was last year. Now let's have a look at this year. At the beginning of Mercury go retrograde, we're now in a bull market. So back here in February when we go retrograde again, we come into it we come down, we start swinging up. Only we're in a bull market now, so we go bullish. The price did not go down at all, right? Then we have effectively been trading sideways between 46,700 and 64,000, which is big variance, right? But if you have a look at this, you go, oh, that's just trading sideways here. Now we've had a correction coming into Saturn retrograde, which happened on Sunday. And again, we've come down in, we've started to rally up a little bit, but we're going to hit the rally. Mercury goes retrograde in a bull cycle. So could we see a rally to the upside? Or if we don't, is this Mercury telling us we're in a bear market, right? Which I don't think we are, but that's a possibility. So why we're saying this is if you're placing leverage trades right now, you want personally, I would do low leverage, because while it looks like we are starting to retrace to the upside, there's this looming event here. And if you have a look at this massive bearish divergence on the RSI down the bottom, we were told about this correction coming up. Teresa, I think you were the first one that pointed this out, and you did a video about this early on, and right when we first started the channel. So yeah. February, March, that was showing up, right? Mm-hmm. On the daily.
Yeah, and it shows up on the weekly as well.
Yeah.
So, you know, we've been seeing this massive descending resistance line in the RSI for months that we're predicting this big dump coming, right? Like, so it's funny because a lot of people are saying, well, we weren't expecting it, what's going on? But, you know, the charts don't lie, and the charts have been predicting this for some time, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And that's why we want you to subscribe to our channel because we're using astrology and we're using consciousness and we're using a little bit of extra things that a lot of the other YouTubers aren't going into because it's just not their style or their thing. We can start seeing things way ahead of time so that you can prepare it and not get caught out and be ready to short. So shorting this was a really lucrative thing if you knew it was coming, right? Yeah. So let's have a look at how this could play out with Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and maybe even ADA. Oh, by the way, if you haven't clicked subscribe and hit the bell and clicked all, be sure to do that. We do live stream of a big picture market analysis on Wednesdays, and then we are posting 2 videos a day teaching you strategies, mindset, scenario trading, as well as technical analysis.
Yeah. One other thing I just mentioned before you move into talking about the specific coins, and we talked about this when we did, I think it was about 6 weeks ago, the video talking about how when the pi cycle indicator topped out in 2013, that might be the closest analogy to what's going on now. This trend of Mercury retrograde in a bull cycle tends to cause an acceleration of the down, and in a bear cycle causes an acceleration of the down, and in a bull cycle causes an acceleration of the up trend. The exception to that was during that period in 2013 when that pi cycle indicator topped out twice, right? Which is probably the closest thing in the charts to what we're seeing now. In 2013, we saw the pi cycle indicator topped out twice. We had 6 to 8 weeks of the price going down or sideways, and the Mercury retrograde actually represented the turnaround point for the retracement. So we could actually be seeing this Mercury retrograde as a turnaround point. We just don't know how the fact that it's happening right in the middle of a Saturn retrograde is going to affect that, because Saturn is a game changer to Mercury retrograde, right? So that's the interesting question. And Bitcoin being such a young asset, like we only have 10 years of charts of Bitcoin to dive back into. As currencies goes, that's not a lot to pull data from. So it'll be interesting to see what this one does, because this could be an anomaly and we just don't know at this time.
Exactly. Yeah. So I know there's a lot of fear out there. So I want to address that right now as we're going into price action for Bitcoin. If you zoom out on the monthly, the idea that we're going into that 2-year bear cycle, it's premature, isn't it, Teresa? A bear market is 2 years. We're barely a year and 4 months into it. We got some more months to go before we're going to do that really big month after month after month after month drop for 2 years, right?
Yeah, I think it's unlikely that this is the end of the bull run. I think we're just in a major retracement in the middle of the bull run. But I think it's also indicative of the fact that we went up more rapidly than a bull run normally does. Like, so the faster you go up, the harder it needs to come down to get it footing, right? So I think this is a normal retracement. The thing that a lot of traders are concerned about, though, is that the weekly candle has dipped below the 21-week EMA, which is normally a major indicator. Some say 20 weeks, some say 21 week, but we usually use that moving average as a major indicator of, are we still bullish or are we still bearish? And in 2013, when the pi cycle top indicator topped out twice, we dipped well into the EMA ribbon and we broke the 20-week moving average, but we didn't have a weekly candle close below it. So what we're seeing now, we've never seen in a bull cycle. So people are, there's a lot of uncertainty and a lot of fear because of that.
Absolutely. But here's the deal, guys. We have also never dipped down below the top of the last bull cycle top. So 2017, we topped out at just under 20,000, right? Here it is here, right? Let me draw you a line. So all this talk that we're going down to 5,000, 10,000, 15,000, 18,000. It's like that would be one for the history books if we did. So what we're doing here, this is Bitcoin on the monthly. What we're doing here is we're establishing a higher low in an overall bull cycle. We've still got higher lows here. Look at this. We go in higher lows. Even though we've had this huge retracement, we've actually got a steeper trajectory and we're above the EMA ribbon. Dipped down on the 21 moving average and 50-day moving average, but we are still above this. We're also above the Ichimoku cloud. So we've got support here, which looks like we could be, a little bit of volatility as we essentially trade sideways, which is consistent with trading sideways pretty much during Saturn retrograde. And we come out of Saturn retrograde the 10th of October. So this is consistent with Willy Woo saying we're probably going to go into the bull cycle into January, maybe even February next year, and not end in September or December as some analysts have been saying, now that we've had this significant retracement.
Yeah, and remember in 2013, that retracement lasted 8 to 9 weeks, depending on how you count it. We're really just in week 3 of it being a really significant retracement. So, we might be in for more of this. Like, I mean, it'd be great if Bitcoin recovered right away. We just saw the big head and shoulders. Everybody's excited. Maybe we're going back into the bull cycle. But we could actually be seeing like lots of up, down, sideways movement for 6-8 weeks.
Yeah.
And those are great opportunities to make money. So as long as we trade appropriately for what's going on and aren't constantly trying to keep our trades open because we think the price is going to skyrocket any minute.
Yeah. Am I in the right? Am I in the right place? Am I on the right dates?
That I don't know. I can't see what you're looking at carefully enough.
I don't think I. Yeah, because I'm going.
Okay.
That's not today's chart.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So
There you go.
here is where we are at currently on the 4 hour, and this is the head and shoulders. An inverse head and shoulders is an indication that the bottom is in, and we are getting a trend reversal. Now, at the moment, we are in the process of testing whether or not that's just about to be invalidated, right?
Mhm.
We also had a W, right? Here is a W. So that's another bullish pattern. Boom. So we've got all of these bullish signs saying, hey, bottom's in, we're going higher, we are now in a trend reversal. But it's been, guess what? Retarded from Saturn in retrograde. It's slowing the recovery down. So this is why we're saying watch out for your expectations. This is mindset. Don't get excited thinking, come on, go, get up there, pump. It's like, it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, this is something Da Vinci J15 talks about a lot. You've got to forget your bias to the asset.
Yeah.
And we all have a bias because Bitcoin's a scarce asset. We think it's just going to keep going up and up and up and up and up. And it is at a macro scale. But we could see, even if this head and shoulders plays out, which it still may play out, we could see any moment here, the breakout and it hitting the target of the head and shoulders. It could still come back down and retrace. And we're in essence going sideways before we're going into new all-time highs in price exploration. So we might we might just be trading into a much bigger wedge or bigger pattern developing on the daily or the weekly that'll start to emerge here. And we'll be able to see what's playing out, a little more accurately once we see where this next pattern peaks out.
Yeah. I mean, even Elon Musk's tweet on Monday about you, right? It's like the last few tweets he's done about Bitcoin, the price has skyrocketed and it kind of went, It didn't take off because of
normally an Elon Musk tweet is gold. and this was kind of like copper. It did have an effect, but not the kind of effect we normally see with Elon Musk.
And it turned around and came back into its pattern anyway. But have a look at this candle here. This is the 4 hour. The next 4 hourly candle is going to tell us, are we going up? Are we going down? Are we trading sideways? Ichimoku is saying we may go down a little bit and trade sideways, right? That's what Ichimoku is telling us, which means this head and shoulders, inverse head and shoulders, would be invalidated, right? And normally, if you are looking at putting a trade in, the idea is here's the neckline of the head and shoulders. You want a clear candle breakout above. You want to retest the previous resistance neckline as support. You want to bounce back. And this is Crypto's strategy, conservative strategy, right above where, like a clear candle close above where the top where we broke out of with momentum in the volume. RSI looking like it's still got places to go. It's not topped out at the top here. And then we've got more confidence that we've got enough momentum to go up to reach the bullish target. We have a traditional resistance zone at 42,000. So we could go to 42,000, retrace, and then come back up. So that might be a good zone to take some profits here. But that is Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin's going to end up taking the rest of the market with it. So Ethereum's actually was looking stronger. Also a reverse head and shoulders on the 4 hour. But if for those of you who are new to my charts, you'll find they look like pickup sticks. So I'm going to just come in really closely and show you that there are several patterns playing out here. Firstly, the head and shoulders. This is a reverse trend pattern. We've broken out. We've come down to test it as support. Now we're looking for the candle to go back up, clear this Fibonacci level at 2,900. We get above 2,930, say, or 46. We've got volume. Everything's good to go. Then here are some of the targets. We've got a bull pennant here. Look at this. This is a bull pennant that we've also broken out of. And that target is, I had that line drawn, but I think I have disappeared it.
I think that's pretty close to the same target as the head and shoulders almost. They're very, very similar.
Much, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So that target we broke out here. That target is pretty much just on that Fibonacci level at 3,615. And then the head and shoulders target is just above. So we might get a bit of a wick up there, 3652. So a strategy might be, if you took this trade and it all looked good, that you take some profit here at this resistance line at 35.50 and then leave 25% in maybe to get that wick there, and then move your stop loss up just in case you get stopped out so you don't lose all of this profit in here. But here's the deal. We'll probably get a little bit of a retracement on the way to another pattern that's breaking out. 3 patterns breaking out simultaneously. We just talked about the bull pennant. We just talked about the head and shoulders. We also are breaking out of this descending wedge, and the target for that is 4,350. So if this breakout continues and we get up here above, what did I say? 29. Let's get above that moving average there. 2,946. We continue up. We may get some retracement here, but we could go all the way up to 4,350 according to these technicals. But remember, we're in Saturn retrograde, right? Which is a pattern retard. So we could take longer to get there, or we might take months to get there. However, with Mercury going retrograde in a bear market, we could also see it shoot up really fast. So this is just yet another indication of contradictory indicators in the market, which you see all the time in cryptocurrency. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the key thing right now is, like with anything with trading, nobody can predict the price, and anybody who tells you they can't, right? Not some of the top YouTubers can. All we're doing is we're looking at the patterns, and then if it breaks up, we do the up trade. If it breaks down, we do the down trade. And it's just important to remember, just to headline everything Nicola is saying, important to remember that when you've got a Saturn retrograde, which is a retarding pattern, be cautious with your trades. Yeah. Like your trades might not behave the way we would normally expect. They might not go all the way to the target. Yeah. We've got a head and shoulders everybody was expecting to break out already, and people are like, is this still valid? Is it still valid? How long can this retest go on? And this head and shoulders is still valid, right?
4 hours. 4 hours for Bitcoin, right? Are we going to see a green candle above here on Ethereum? And are we going to see a bounce off of the neckline to go up in that direction? So here's what we say: trade consciously. And one of the things that we mean by that is be conscious of the fact that Mercury retrograde in a bear market could indicate we're going to take off to the upside rather quickly. Now, we've said a few bearish things. It's like, but it could also go slower or be retarded in its growth. But here's something really exciting. Mercury retrograde in February, remember January through to February, January the 31st all the way to mid-Feb, 21st Feb. That was a 77% price increase, Teresa.
Yeah, that's not some change.
That is not. That took us up to 59,000, right? And everybody started getting really euphoric, and we didn't really retrace that far back from that until recently. So if Mercury retrograde does not get held back by Saturn retrograde, we could take off within 3 weeks to 70K.
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice? You know?
But we've got to look at this bearish divergence. For me, as I'm looking at this, I'm seeing the potential to the upside, I'm seeing the potential to the downside, and I'm landing. It just may take a little longer to get there. So don't expect these big rocket moonings. And if we get the big rocket moonings, then we know for the next time Mercury is in retrograde in a bull cycle right at the beginning of a Saturn return, that there's something else we need to look at to see why it diverged from its normal pattern. Yeah.
Yeah. From an RSI standpoint, I think a telling day will be when we break that downward trending resistance.
Yes. Yeah.
Because then we'll know that bearish divergence is over.
Yeah.
Right. And so, some could say, well, we've already had the bearish divergence play out, but we don't know if the market's ready to rebound yet, because that is a multi-week bearish divergence. We might not be over yet, folks.
Yeah. And people are really sore and hurting from the losses. And by the way, subscribe to our channel, because we've been uploading some really cool stuff on how to get rid of those emotions and manage those emotions. And one of the videos that I posted yesterday is walking you through a breathing technique. So all the pain that you have in your body from losing and the ouchie and the FUD and the monkey mind, you can just find peace and calm, and then learn the lesson that you learned so that you can move on and make that money back and not.
My new favorite video. It's an exquisite video, guys. Nicola just knocked it out of the park on this, and I've listened to it 3 times already. Because, even experienced traders experience loss, right? Carl the Moon and BitBoy were both doing videos in the last week about how much the value of their Bitcoin has dropped.
Yeah.
As a result of these retracements, right? So you have to have that consciousness to be able to move through the loss. And this video, Nicola, is just, so good. Exquisite video. I think it's going to be one of the most popular videos on our channel. So if you haven't watched it yet, go watch it, favorite it, bookmark it. You'll want to listen to it over and over again.
Yeah, you want to be able to bounce back like Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Bitcoin went boom and then went boom and it bounced right back. That's what you need to be doing. And you need a clear head so you don't repeat the mistake you just made, right? Because if you lost money when all of the technicals were in play saying we're going down and you didn't know that, or you didn't see it, or you forgot about it, that means that we need to get you up to scratch with becoming a better and a stronger technical analyst. And that's what our channel is partly about. Helping you with technical analysis, training, education, helping you with scenario trading, like the scenarios we're talking about today with Mercury going retrograde, and then helping you with the mindset and the emotional management. So make sure you subscribe so you get notified when we upload awesome videos. Cool. So let's look at XRP. I heard a rumor. Definitely by the 5th of July, something's got to come to a head with the SEC lawsuit, because they are coming out of discovery to go, do we have a case to progress forward? And there are rumors saying that the SEC is getting ready to settle in Ripple's favor. That's just a rumor. I watched that on the Moon Lambo channel today, who's one of my favorite fundamental channels on XRP. But XRP has definitely, I believe its bottom is in, because we got a W and we played it out. Here's the W, boom, 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 double bottom there, perfect W. The second part of the W is higher than the first, indicating upward motion. We took off to the races, back up to the $1.07, I think it went up to, right? Now we're just retracing a little bit of danger zone here. This could be a bear flag playing out. Look at that.
Looks a lot like a bear flag to me.
Yeah, it could. It looks like a lot like a bear flag to me. Yeah. Not only that, look at the Ichimoku. Ichimoku's got that big V there.
As Nicola says, don't mess with the Ichimoku cloud. Yeah.
Teresa says Ikimoku and I say Ichimoku. I don't know which is the correct spelling.
Yeah, let us know in the chat which you think is right, because I've heard it said both ways.
Yeah. So this is good. This is bullish for with this W having played out. We didn't do a U-turn on this W like Bitcoin and Ethereum are doing a U-turn on the inverse head and shoulders, right? We played this out, and now we are in a retracement. We could retrace down that back to 95. There's a significant resistance around 92, 95, between 92 and 95. So that there's some action going on here. There's a support line for the bottom of the W there that comes down like that, right? We could trade sideways here a little bit, and then this dip, if that plays out, that little dip there before we go over into the Tenkan-sen is to midnight while we're sleeping, Teresa. 2:00 USA Mountain Time.
Yeah, I will not be getting up in the middle of the night tonight.
No, I got up last night, so
I got up in the middle of the night last night, and that's enough for me.
I will be putting in an order. I'll be putting in some buy orders. So that's the pattern that we've got at the moment. We see these two yellow lines going up here in a rising wedge. Pattern breaks to the downside, did it once, a little bit of a fake out here, did it a second time, and played it out. The bottom of this wedge is, often when you break out from an ascending or a descending wedge, it's at the beginning of where we started. That's all the way down to 82 cents. I don't know if we're going to come all the way down there because look, we've got all these holes here. So this might not be a valuable.
But every time we say with XRP, I don't know if we'll come all the way down there. It comes all the way down there. XRP loves to wick, right?
Yeah.
And that's an important thing to always remember with any cryptocurrency. We are in a deregulated, decentralized realm, so there is no one regulating the bullies in the schoolyard.
Yeah.
Right. And so this is a realm that is prone to market dumping. And if I were a whale, I can understand their reasons for doing it, right? They sometimes need to do market dumping so they can do big buys.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not saying I agree with it, but I can certainly understand their motivation for doing it. And so you just have to be aware of that, especially with XRP, because if you look at the aggregate sites, like the big sites that will show you across multiple exchanges, how many $1 million and up trades go in. Bitcoin has tons of $1 million and up trades, like every few seconds, another $1 million trade goes in Bitcoin. XRP seldom gets a trade over $1 million. So the big money traders can affect this market a lot more easily because the volume on this market just isn't as high. So somebody comes in who is a whale in XRP, they, one or two traders moving the market in the same direction can have massive impacts, right? So it is important. I used to put in buy orders at the low levels in XRP. I stopped doing it because so often the wicks go down way beyond your buy order and liquidate you out or hit the, if you put the stop loss just above the liquidation point. Now I just watch for the wicks and trade them when I see them, trade them live. But it can be risky.
I have buy orders in, like there is confluence here at around about 80 cents and 33 or 81.07. And if we come down to the beginning of this wedge and maybe we wick down a little bit more, all we're doing is creating a higher low. So it's not a big deal, right? It just means we're confirming we are in an uptrend still, right? We're still getting higher lows, right? So we're in an uptrend. We just are retracing within that uptrend. So if you are doing buy orders in, when I do really low ball buy orders, I never put in a stop loss, and I'll make the leverage really low so that you go to where is the lowest that this could wick to, and have a look at your next support line, which actually I don't have my Fibonacci's drawn in here. Let me just do that now.
Yeah, it's a really important thing to remember, though, that if you're trying to get on a moving train by standing in front of the tracks,
Yeah.
I would not recommend you're doing high leverage trades, because that's a challenging thing to do. And I really do believe in trading the wicks, but it is easy to get liquidated out if you're putting buy orders in at really low levels. So I really agree with Nicola's strategy there. Make them super low leverage trades and really have your stop orders well down below where the possible price action might be.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's always possible to come back and retest this wick here at 64,000, which is where we bottomed out before, and then create a double bottom confirming the trend reversal. If we break that, which I don't think, I think the SEC would need to win the lawsuit for it to come lower than that. And then the next Fibonacci level would be 38 cents. Not seeing it, not feeling it, but it's always possible, especially in market manipulation. So trade carefully, trade consciously, be aware of all of these things and make sure you've got volume supported breakouts before entering into a trade. With XRP, there's also this potential cup and handle, which is almost getting invalidated as we speak. Here we go here, boom, there's the cup, there's the very long handle, and now it's coming back up again. So the target for that is around $1.18, which would be really nice. We have also broken out of this downward trend channel. Let me go into the 4 hourly so you can see it more. So that's confirming that we are, in an upward trend again. We've come down out of this falling, descending wedge. And when you break out of the wedge, we've come back and sort of tested this as support. Teresa, when it doesn't come all the way down and it bounces back up, do you call that a retest of the support?
I would, yeah.
Yeah. I did as well, because that I entered here. So we come back here, boom, we bounce off there. We are confirming a breakout of this descending wedge. We've even gone higher than the actual breakout candle here. So the top of this is around about $1.32. So I think while we may, that Saturn and Mercury may make this really slow and sluggish, which definitely today it has been, right? It's been very sluggish.
Quiet
People
day.
are getting bored. You got to watch that. If you're getting bored, go do some gardening. Go volunteer, help some people that are in distress. Like, get your jollies somewhere else. Otherwise, you might end up losing a lot of money by jumping into trades that are going to turn around on you.
Yeah.
So ADA, on the other hand, I love ADA. I mean, I love the project, the whole thing that this is the change makers coin, right? Because this is leveling the playing field for people in the developing world, Africa particularly, which is really in alignment with my purpose and my mission in life to level the playing field for everybody to be able to reach their dreams and help humanity innovate amazing things to advance us. So I'm totally into ADA. And what I'm loving about it, it is decoupling from Bitcoin and Ethereum. It's supposed to be the Ethereum breaker, right? But it's decoupling, because often, some of the altcoins that are linked to Ethereum or Bitcoin, when Bitcoin goes up, they go up. When Bitcoin goes down, they go down. But ADA has been significantly decoupling, just going up, 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 up. Not too big of a retracement. We've got a W here played out, confirming the bottom is in. And now we're in a bull flag, right? And the top of that bull flag is, this is just a performer. It's awesome. And it's just come above the EMA with that last little bounce there, $1.90. However, just be careful, guys. Look at this on the Ichimoku. We're going into bullish territory here where there's going to be little resistance. But whenever you see these straight lines on the Ichimoku and then it descends down and then it goes across and then it descends down, sometimes you see a significant dip, but sometimes you see a pump. So this is not a literal thing. This does not literally mean we're going to trade sideways, because you can see we didn't. In this instance, we got the pump, right?
Yeah. In this case, that dip is signaling the reversal of the cloud from bearish to bullish too, right? Because when the cloud's showing red, it's a bearish cloud.
Yeah.
If you're red and under a red cloud, you're really bearish, right? So the cloud just turned green and we're above the cloud. That's a very bullish
Which is
Ikimoku that we're seeing
Ethereum.
right now.
We're under the bearish cloud right now for
Yeah.
Ethereum. So this needs a lot of volume to push up, right?
Yeah.
Whereas XRP, we're above it. And then ADA is looking poised to, to scooch on out of here and up. Now, ADA is also coming out of a descending wedge as well. It's breaking out and it's confirmed the breakout. We broke out, we came back down and tested it, created this W, confirming the bottom being in my opinion, coming into a bull flag pole, coming into a flag, getting ready to break out any moment now to the upside, unless something happens and, because what is it, an 80% chance to the upside, 20% chance it could fall to the downside. But this is looking pretty cool. This is looking good. And the wedge is the all-time high. The top of the wedge is $2.45 or $2.52, I think I put here. And that's really awesome. Oh, look, we've got two W's here. Forgot about that. Yes. So this is ADA is a top performer. If you don't have ADA, I would go to their website, check it out, and really feel into it, because I love it. If you're getting bored because nothing's happening with Bitcoin, nothing's happening with Ethereum, and nothing's happening with XRP, then ADA could be doing something, right? That's what I've been noticing. It's really finding its own feet, which is good news for when we come to the bear market. It might not get that 95% retracement that a lot of the altcoins do get, yeah? We don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. It's fun to speculate anyway, yeah.
Do we have any questions, guys? Have you got any questions on any of the charts that you want us to?
No questions on the chat at the moment. So type in if you want us to cover anything specific.
And if you're watching this as a replay, we absolutely get back to the comments within 24 hours to 40 hours, 48 hours, 24 and 24 is 48, yeah, right? So be sure to do that. So there we have it. What do we learn today? We learned to be careful between now and Sunday, because we're not 100% sure if Mercury is going to pump 77% to the upside over the next 4 weeks, or whether it's going to trade slowly sideways or dump. I'm not seeing a dump in Ichimoku, but you never know with the price manipulation that's going on. So we're in the I don't know. We're waiting for the charts to show us the direction it's going to go in, and then you short it if it goes down and you put in a long if it goes up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Beautiful. And don't forget to go watch Nicola's trading loss recoveries video, because it really is exquisite. One of the best videos we've done on the channel.
Totally. And I just want to speak to that before we end the live stream today. Love for you to like this live stream if you haven't already. It really helps us out. We're a new channel. We're just getting things started here, and we're putting out a tremendous amount of value. We are an education channel. But also with the mindset stuff, we're giving you some processes that you can use. And this speaks to the heart of why I'm concerned about having people have processes to deal with their emotions, is because having worked in the stock market, whenever there's a stock market crash, I've heard of or known people who've lost money and committed suicide. And I don't want that to happen. And the reason that happens is because the energy in the body is so great, it's unbearable. You think the only way out is to take yourself out. And that's not true. The way out is to move the energy out of the body so you come back into your calm and still center. Your head gets clear, because you'll be okay. There'll be a way out eventually if you can get to that clarity and that stillness, and then you'll find a way to move on. And the video that I did on how to recover emotionally after losing your Bitcoin, then that helps you have a process that you can come back to. Bookmark that video, come back to it every time you go through a loss, because the more you can move that emotion out, the more tranquil you are entering into trades, and the better those trades will be eventually. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Awesome. We're good for today. We'll see you next Wednesday. We are uploading a couple of videos a day teaching you that trading analysis, teaching technical analysis rather, scenarios and mindset. So be sure to subscribe, hit the bell, click all, so you get notified when we do that. Other than that, trade consciously over this time, guys.
Yeah. We'll see you next time, guys. It's been just a joy.
Bye-bye, everybody.